Max Baer Jr. and Nancy Culp shared one of television's most complicated off-screen relationships, filled with more drama than anything the Clampett family ever faced in their Beverly Hills mansion. At 88 years old, Max stands as the last surviving member of that legendary cast, carrying decades of memories about his co-star Nancy that reveal a story most fans never knew existed. The Beverly Hillbillies exploded onto television screens September 26, 1962, creating instant magic that would captivate American audiences for 9 seasons. This simple story about a poor family striking oil and moving to Beverly Hills became a cultural phenomenon, claiming the #1 spot for its first 2 seasons and staying in the top 20 for 8 of its 9 years. But while millions watched the Clampetts' fish-out-of-water adventures, the real drama was playing out behind the cameras between the cast members themselves. Max entered Hollywood on December 4, 1937, carrying the heavyweight legacy of his boxing champion father, Max Baer Sr. Despite earning a business degree with a philosophy minor from Santa Clara University, he found himself trapped playing the dim-witted Jethro Bodine, a role that would simultaneously launch his career and become his greatest burden. Nancy Culp brought a completely different background to the show. Born 16 years before Max on August 28, 1921 in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, she'd already lived several lives before stepping into Miss Jane Hathaway's sensible shoes. The journalism graduate from Florida State College for Women had served as a naval officer during World War II, earning lieutenant junior grade rank and multiple decorations. She was everything her secretary character was, and everything Jethro wasn't. Their contrasting characters created television gold. Miss Jane's hopeless crush on the oblivious Jethro became a running gag that Nancy herself described as the impossible dream, played strictly for laughs. What audiences couldn't see was how this on-screen dynamic sometimes mirrored real tensions between 2 actors from vastly different worlds. Max has never sugar-coated the Beverly Hillbillies experience. I yelled at Irene and she yelled at me. I'd get angry with Donna and she would cry or something like that. Buddy would get mad at me and just turn his back, he's admitted in interviews. The cast operated less like a television family and more like reluctant roommates forced to coexist. As Max put it, they may be enemies, but if you put a dog and a cat in a room together, they'll learn to tolerate each other because they know they have to survive. Nancy brought serious professionalism to her role, earning an Emmy nomination in 1967. She appeared in 246 episodes, making Miss Jane Hathaway one of TV's most recognizable secretaries. Her character's unwavering loyalty to Mr. Drysdale and patient handling of the Clampetts showcased Nancy's impressive range. Behind the scenes, she maintained cordial relationships with most co-stars, though sharp political differences would later create permanent rifts with some cast members, especially Buddy Ebsen. Max appeared in 272 episodes as Jethro, occasionally doubling as his twin sister Jethryn, though actress Linda Kay Henning provided the female voice. This dual role demonstrated his versatility while deepening his association with the Bodine family. Years later, he'd reflect bitterly on this typecasting. I couldn't walk into a producer's office wanting to play a neurosurgeon or pilot. The moment I appeared on screen, people would just see Jethro. The financial reality of 1960s television success looked nothing like today's standards. Max made just $500 per episode during the first season. By year 2, this jumped to $600 or $700 per show. Even when the Beverly Hillbillies dominated as America's #1 series in their 3rd year, Max's salary only reached $800 per episode. These modest paychecks would later drive him to seek greater control over his career and finances. When the Beverly Hillbillies wrapped its 9-season run on September 7, 1971, the cast scattered in different directions. Max made a calculated move behind the camera, writing and producing the 1974 drama Macon County Line. The film cost less than $200,000 to make but earned over $30 million at the box office, holding the record for highest-grossing movie per dollar invested until The Blair Witch Project broke it in 1999. This success proved Max possessed business skills far beyond anything Jethro could have dreamed up. Nancy continued acting while nurturing political ambitions that had been growing since her college journalism days and World War II naval service. She taught acting, appeared in various shows and films, and gradually became more involved with Democratic Party politics in Pennsylvania. During their Beverly Hillbillies years, Max and Nancy maintained a professional but distant relationship. Their characters rarely shared scenes without the entire ensemble, and their 16-year age gap meant they moved in completely different social circles. Nancy was already an established character actress when the show began, while Max was still finding his Hollywood footing. The 1981 CBS reunion movie Return of the Beverly Hillbillies revealed just how differently the surviving cast members viewed their shared legacy. Nancy agreed to reprise Miss Jane, joining Buddy Ebsen and Donna Douglas. But Max shocked fans and producers alike by refusing to participate. Max's refusal to return as Jethro was a deliberate attempt to escape the character that had both made and trapped his career. "I was born Max Baer Jr., son of a great boxer, and I'll die Jethro Bodine. Period. I never really got the chance to be me," he said, expressing years of accumulated frustration. His character was recast for the reunion, effectively erasing Jethro from the Clampett family's continued story. This decision created tension within the Beverly Hillbillies family. Nancy, who'd maintained friendships with several cast members, reportedly felt Max's absence hurt the reunion's impact. She understood his desire to move beyond typecasting, but also valued the show's legacy and the joy it brought millions of viewers. The most explosive chapter between Max and Nancy came in 1984. 3 years after the reunion movie, when Nancy decided to run for Congress. At 62, she entered the race as the Democratic nominee for Pennsylvania's 9th Congressional District, challenging 6-term Republican incumbent Bud Shuster. This heavily Republican district made Nancy a significant underdog from the start. Nancy ran a serious, policy-focused campaign. She'd worked with the Democratic State Committee for years and felt genuinely qualified to serve. She raised $73,143 for her campaign, though this couldn't match Schuster's $269,597 war chest. Nancy knew some voters might view her acting background as frivolous, but she pointed to Ronald Reagan's successful transition from screen to politics. What Nancy didn't expect was sabotage from her former Beverly Hillbillies family. Buddy Ebsen, despite having zero connection to Pennsylvania, contacted the Schuster campaign and volunteered to record a radio ad opposing Nancy's candidacy. In the spot, Ebsen declared, "I love Nancy Culp dearly, but Pennsylvania voters won't elect an ultra-liberal from Hollywood." This betrayal crushed Nancy. "He's not the kindly old Jed Clampett you saw on the show," she said after the election. "It's none of his business and he should have stayed out of it." She found Ebsen's interference particularly painful because he had to go out of his way to oppose her, despite having no stake in Pennsylvania politics. Max's response to this political drama has been notably measured. Unlike Ebsen, he didn't publicly involve himself in Nancy's congressional campaign, either supporting or opposing her. His silence during this period reveals a different relationship with Nancy, one that was professional rather than personal, but not hostile. While he distanced himself from the Beverly Hillbillies' legacy, he felt no need to undermine a former co-star's political dreams. Nancy's congressional campaign ended in defeat. She received 59,449 votes, or 33.6%, compared to Schuster's 117,203 votes and 66.4%. The loss stung badly, made worse by Ebsen's betrayal. According to close friends and family, Nancy considered Ebsen persona non grata after the election and made it clear people shouldn't mention him in her presence. The 1984 election aftermath created lasting divisions within the Beverly Hillbillies family. Nancy returned to teaching at Juniata College, while Max pursued business ventures, including his long-running attempts to develop a Beverly Hillbillies-themed casino in Nevada. Their paths rarely crossed during this period, but there's no evidence of personal animosity between Max and Nancy comparable to her rift with Ebsen. In 1990, Nancy received devastating news. She'd been diagnosed with cancer. The diagnosis came just 6 years after her political defeat and marked the beginning of a difficult final chapter. During this period, Buddy Ebsen reportedly expressed private remorse for interfering in her congressional campaign, and they reconciled shortly before her death. Nancy died on February 3, 1991, at age 69. Her death ended an era for Beverly Hillbillies fans and left Max as one of the few surviving core cast members. At her funeral, tributes celebrated her acting career, naval service, and commitment to education and public service. Missing from many tributes was acknowledgement of her groundbreaking role as one of television's most memorable working women. Max's reflections on Nancy's death have been characteristically understated. He's spoken about losing co-stars over the years with a mixture of sadness and philosophical acceptance. "We were thrown together to do a job, and we did it well," he said about the Beverly Hillbillies experience. His specific comments about Nancy have always been respectful, acknowledging her professionalism and talent without claiming a closeness that didn't exist. The 1993 Beverly Hillbillies feature film, starring Jim Varney as Jed and Diedrich Bader as Jethro, served as another reminder of how differently the original cast viewed their legacy. Max had no involvement in the production, maintaining his distance from anything Jethro-related. Nancy's death 2 years earlier meant Miss Jane was recast with actress Erika Eleniak in a significantly different role. As years passed and more Beverly Hillbillies cast members died, Max found himself uniquely positioned as the last surviving link to the original show. Buddy Ebsen passed in 2003, followed by Donna Douglas in 2015. At 88, Max now carries the memories and stories of all his former co-stars, including Nancy. Max has shown a softer attitude toward his Beverly Hillbillies legacy in recent years, though he still bristles at being called Jethro. "It's like somebody calling you a son of a bitch," he said about the nickname. However, he's become more willing to discuss his show experiences and relationships with co-stars, including Nancy. Max's current perspective on Nancy reflects the wisdom that comes with age and being the last survivor. He's acknowledged her intelligence and professionalism, noting the contrast between her real personality and her character's sometimes silly devotion to the Clampetts. "Nancy was nothing like Miss Jane," he's observed. "She was smart, tough, and knew what she wanted from life." The story of Max and Nancy represents more than just a Hollywood relationship. It reflects the complex dynamics of television families thrown together by circumstance rather than choice. Their professional respect for each other, despite vast differences in background and temperament, helped create television magic that endures more than 50 years after the Beverly Hillbillies premiered. Today, as Max approaches his 89th birthday, he remains in relatively good health and continues living quietly in Lake Tahoe. His reflections on Nancy have evolved from professional acknowledgement to something approaching genuine fondness. The woman who played the prim secretary devoted to an impossible dream was, in reality, a groundbreaking figure who served her country in war, broke barriers for women in television, and had courage to pursue her political convictions despite the personal cost. The Beverly Hillbillies continues airing in syndication worldwide, introducing new generations to the Clampett family adventures in Beverly Hills. For Max, watching these reruns must create a complex mix of emotions: pride in the show's enduring popularity, frustration with his typecasting, and nostalgia for co-stars who are no longer here to share the memories. The relationship between Max and Nancy was defined not by dramatic conflicts that make sensational headlines, but by mutual professional respect between two very different people who found themselves part of television history. Their story reminds us that behind every beloved TV show are real people with complex lives, dreams, and disappointments that extend far beyond what audiences see on screen. At 88, Max truly serves as keeper of the Beverly Hillbillies secrets, the last person who can tell us what it was really like being part of one of television's most successful series. His memories of Nancy, intelligent, principled, and far removed from the love-struck secretary she played, help complete the picture of a woman who deserves recognition for more than just her impossible dream of winning Jethro's heart.